Welcome back to Closing Time with Nick El-Tawil. I am Nick El-Tawil, and I'm here with my guest today. We got 4 of them. This is the biggest one I've done yet. Josh Shaver, Derek Deardorff, Casey Cutter, and Derek Tschilar. This is the OG Gentlemen's Club of Arizona Real Estate. Now, we have a group chat, and we're always talking about life, about real estate, about that one time I made out with Josh. We have fun, but we also help each other in our businesses. And I thought, why not put it on camera today? So what's going on, guys?
Nick, man, thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming.
Absolutely.
So, Derek, you're a builder.
Builder,
Slash
flipper, real estate agent, do a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm. And Josh, you're also a real estate agent.
Yes, sir.
And you are the chairman of the Paradise Valley Luxury Home Tour.
I am.
That's right. So we got luxury over here. We got the builder over here. Casey, you're a lender.
I put people in debt. I do that for a living. I'm a lender.
Good debt.
I have
Good
a small
debt.
mortgage team that's pretty great. Do a little bit of home flipping and real estate investing.
Mm-hmm. And Derek Tschilar, you're the newest agent here, but also probably doing more volume than anyone would expect for someone only 2-3 years in. Selling $10 million a year, Derek Tschilar, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I do wholesale, fix and flip off market properties, listings. I cold call a lot of clients, so it's pretty much anything I could do.
So it's really like a crazy spread between how people get their business here. Like we have Josh, who is all in-person networking, because that's how you get the high-end clients. And then we have Derek Tschilar, who makes the cold calls, does the dirty work. And then we got me. I do a little bit of both. And Casey, I know you were a hustler back in the day too.
I felt probably more like Josh did, more relationship based, and that's how I know you guys as well as I do. But we've seen every model work. Just got to find the right model for the right person and put the work in. Put the work in is the most important thing. If you can't get out of your comfort zone of whatever the relevant style you have is, you're not going to go that far. But
That's what I always say. It's kind of interesting. Like a lot of our within real estate and within lending, I think it's like all like basically it's what you make it. It's your own little business, and so we all can do it totally differently.
Mm-hmm.
Casey and I pair well because he's more relationship focused, and since I'm new and I'm just building out my pipeline and building up clientele, I'm a little bit more on the transactional side. So it's kind of nice to have his team kind of slow me down sometimes and kind of, navigate and smooth out the transaction. We make a great pair.
yeah, and then I think our follow up with the team and everything like that helps support because you're balancing a huge database and a lot of leads at any given time, and you do a really good job of finding the time to give to all of them. But we try to.
Just to give you guys perspective, I'm sending Casey 2 new clients a day.
Wow.
So out of those 2 new clients, we're expecting probably a minimum, like extremely conservative number for procuring 4 new buyers.
That's incredible.
Whether that takes, and a lot of these people are ready to go right away.
Mm-hmm.
So we're running ads for people that want to buy right away, which is kind of a very untraditional model of real estate because it's not a today business. It's a follow-up, long-term, slow business. But the way the market has shifted with it slowing down a little bit and listings stacking up, people have opted back into buying. And so we're seeing a whole new kind of buyer re-enter the market, and they're ready to go. They're waiting people are sick of hearing interest rates are going to drop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're not going to drop, and we don't care anymore. We're not going to.
They could be 7%
we
for
don't
the
care.
next
We're
10 years.
We're going to utilize and do what we can in our power today to make it financially feasible.
Mm-hmm.
Question for you: like with your ads and everything you do in terms of cold calling, like how many of those leads actually turn over to actual like clients, whether you're listing or selling, or the basic buy side either as well?
Like qualified or closing?
Like closing them.
So how many? So actually, I would say 1 in every 10 clients will have a home to list as well.
Wow.
And so I'm allocating most of my business and time towards this new model until it doesn't work anymore. But I will say that 2 years of cold calling and 8 years in the car business on the phone, these ads are great, but you really got to sink your teeth in and really follow up and know exactly what to say and how to navigate around some of these clients where some of them are like home runs ready to go. And like Casey and I look at each other like, wow, that's great. Like we just got a client, like we got really lucky. Some of them it's a lot of work, so we take them all though, right?
Yeah, but the ones that are a lot of work, I've experienced this my whole career, but a lot with your business is those are the most rewarding ones sometimes because they come in with like, maybe someone's kind of just shut the door in their face in the past before, like, hey, you're not qualified, or, it's too tough to fix your credit, or like, hey, we we got to help you with some tax planning or whatever, like, you know, file your returns in a manner that, you know, is conducive to getting approved for the loan. And when we're able to kind of put that elbow grease in and move that needle for them, those are the ones that to me are like, have just been the most satisfying clients to work with for sure.
Absolutely. To give you guys perspective, we had a deal in jeopardy before I met Casey. Casey was actually friends with the listing agent, which are great listing agents, and pretty much I was getting a loan denial, and they said, "Hey, we're going to give you an opportunity to keep this together. You got to give our loan officer a shot, though." I said, "Yeah, absolutely. Of course, you know, I want my clients to have somewhere to live because they ended their lease and they were in jeopardy, and they're like, you know, they're thinking they're buying a home, only to find out at the last minute that, you know, it's in jeopardy of a loan denial." So sure enough, Casey takes over the file and did in 3 days what this other lender couldn't do in like 45 days. He got it clear to close. And what was really cool too is like there were so many moving pieces. Like he paid off like back taxes. He did all this crazy stuff we were able to negotiate in the deal. And so these clients will never forget that because, you know, to us, sometimes it's just like another transaction, but to these clients, what we have to understand sometimes as professionals, doesn't matter what the price point is. It could be a $60,000 manufactured home, is that this is sheltered to them. So it's a massive deal to them. And they never thought they were going to be able to purchase. And what Casey did was not only get someone out of federal debt, but also get them to a home with like a good rate and zero out of pocket. It was a VA loan.
It was an incredible success story. We turned around like 6 months later and refinanced them at an even lower rate. But I love I feel like transition from like however it is each person's individually sourcing business to it eventually becoming somewhat database related in terms of how you're moving along in business. Who's been in real estate the longest here?
I've been over 10 years.
I think it's probably you, right?
Yeah,
I got 11 years, but 2 different markets. So it's like I got 3 in AZ, 9 in New York.
So your database is probably biggest here in Arizona, right?
Yeah.
What percentage of your business right now, if you had to guess, would be database, like repeat clients or referrals from past clients?
For me, it's basically I'd say like referral wise and repeat clients, it's like 50% probably. Like, I mean, we do a lot of like new generation, like lead generation in terms of like open house and so that. My business model is like totally different from yours as well too. Like, I generate new stuff, but the majority of it is referrals or it's past clients. So
database though, right? Or at least to an extent. So 50% or so. What percent of database is yours?
I'm 90% lead generation in the open market and 10% repeat referrals and sphere of influence.
Okay.
But I am working actually on like brand awareness. You know, after talking with Nick, I'm working on more getting kind of a warmer type lead, if you will, from either my sphere or past clients. So I'm trying to tap into that more because I've trained myself. The way my brain works is to always just be in nonstop like lead generation mode.
Yeah.
So you got to take a step back and like strengthen the weaknesses in your business. And one of the weaknesses in my business is getting referrals and asking for business from people that I already know that would be happy to give me the business. I just haven't asked.
Yeah, it's interesting because like honestly, my business is like it's so small in a lot of ways because it's like I have just a few like a handful. I have like a good history of clients, but it's just a very small group, and so like basically I work through those constantly because they constantly are moving, and like sure these people don't stay in their homes for more than 3 years, and so
yeah. And what's interesting too, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say it's just crazy. It's like a lot of those are just basically every 3-4 years they move and they keep buying new stuff, which is great clients, and they refer us out.
You know, one thing I noticed too, just about all of you guys, and I would be the different one here, is all of you are from Arizona, right? You're born, you were raised here, you went to high school here, you have that network.
Yeah.
And for a transplant, you know, like me, moving here, building out that sphere has certainly been the number one most challenging thing for me. And I look at it, you know, it's a marathon, you know, not a sprint. And so just building that, you know, over time, where you guys from here already have, you know, your parents, people your parents know, friends, people your friends know. And so I think that's a huge strategic advantage.
It's massive.
In real estate.
I wish we could say it was strategic.
I've done
Strategic, it's not.
Look, I've done both because when I went to New York, I didn't know anybody. I met people through school, and my network just kind of grew naturally.
Yep.
But then when COVID hit, and I had to make the choice: do I want to struggle and like push through, or do I want to move back to AZ? I moved back to AZ. I was very close to not sticking with real estate because of what you just said. Because building that network again is so difficult.
Yeah,
but I'm from here, so I was cheating a little bit. I got my parents, I got cousins, I have my brother, my sister. Brother and sister both have bought and sold houses with me already. So thanks, Allie. Thanks, Jordan. Love you guys.
And you look at a guy like Josh, who's been in it for 10 years now, and the level that he's at. You know, Derek is as soon as I met Derek, I knew he's going to be a rock star. Knew it right away.
Thank you.
He has the
Likewise.
attitude, the demeanor.
Likewise.
I knew it.
We hit it off right away. I knew this guy was going to be my best friend.
10 million in under 3 years in this market is very tough.
It's insane.
Very tough.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. 10 million a year, but that's okay.
10 million in the last year.
I'm just kidding.
With less than 3 years experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that impressive, but
No,
it's very
one
impressive.
thing that's interesting
very
is we're
impressive.
like in completely different markets. So there's like little micro changes in your market and mine. So like it almost helps in a way to kind of have your niche sometimes and kind of stick to it, because I'm going to be more of an expert in my market. You're going to be more expert in your market
100%.
because of all the small changes, especially all the unpredictable changes. You know, sometimes rates go down a little bit, and then there's a lag time for that to catch up with the market, and or inventory goes down or up. So
Yeah.
just kind
Well,
of.
I think that's definitely what you said. Like basically being an expert in your market is like the prime thing. Because basically with us, it's like in Paradise Valley, I can tell you basically the difference of property values over one street over another versus basically I couldn't tell you anything about something on the outskirts that I might not know. It's like that.
Right.
So
Tell me about Camelback Manor.
Camelback Manor, I love Camelback Manor. It's an incredible location. Right? You're in the saddle of Paradise Valley.
I saw there was a pretty sweet listing. Actually, I was going to go film it with Jensen. He's behind the camera. You guys can't see him. But yeah, I hadn't been to that neighborhood.
Oh, Camelback Manor is incredible. You have
Yeah.
that whole, it's what they call within the saddle of Paradise Valley, and that's like the prime.
Right, just south of Lincoln.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Between Lincoln and McDonald, between Camelback and Mummy.
Mhm.
Can't go wrong.
Love that. No,
So when we build the Paradise Valley website, because I'm building a website
Yeah.
where it's going to have every single neighborhood in Paradise Valley, and we're going to do SEO stuff and get a video for each one.
Mhm.
It's going to take a while because sometimes they don't have listings in every single neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
It takes months or years for a listing to come up.
Mhm.
Yeah, but over time, that's my goal.
That sounds good.
You're going to do a septic map too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A septic map?
Sewer and septic? You know?
Should I do
It's
that?
50-50
It's
in Paradise
good.
Valley,
Yeah,
so you
it's
never
a good
know.
idea. Should I do that?
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Septic, baby.
Septic.
We got your toilets on lock.
No, but I think truly the best thing about being in real estate, I've been here my whole life. As much as I think I know the areas that I know, or the places that I've been, I'm always a tourist in my own city. I'm always finding new hidden gem, neighborhoods that I've never been in, and it just blows my mind how much real estate is actually here in Phoenix.
That's crazy.
And how and I think we're honestly in one of, if not the most unique market. And I don't know. I love.
Well, we just have so much development. Like between here
Lot
and I
of
think
development.
Texas, it's crazy. You go to Surprise and you see what's all being developed out there. You go to Buckeye. I mean, it's like the development, like the new shopping centers, the new like restaurants. I mean, it's like we're such a new state, and so to see just all this development, you don't see it in New York. You don't see it in California.
You
like that.
don't because
Yeah.
of the weather. So our weather's consistent. So now the global market has found out, and so you got Taiwan, you got other countries that are like, hey, if we don't even, if we can get away with not investing in New York that has like snowstorms, rain, whatever, we don't have to shut down even for one day. We're going to save millions.
Yeah.
So it's such a good investment for businesses, industrial businesses, because they never have to shut down. Our weather's consistent. They know exactly what they're getting.
So I made this comparison on Twitter the other day, and Jensen is actually a big fan of this, but Dubai is one of the wealthiest cities in the world,
Sure.
right? And it has weather very similar to Phoenix, just more humidity. So if one of the wealthiest cities in the world, Dubai, has pretty much the same weather as us, like, we're going to be all right.
Yeah.
So I think for some of us, our natives that have seen this state grown to the amount that it's grown to now, I have high hopes for our state. I think it's gonna be a huge melting pot. I mean, it's getting busy here.
Yeah, I mean, we're one of the
that-
fastest growing cities. Like
Yeah.
myself, moved here. There's a ton of transplants from the Midwest, from the West Coast, Pacific Northwest.
We think
People
you
come
see
back.
and you see
Yeah.
the money come in here. Like the money here
For
is like
sure.
unreal. It's like when
The
people are
money's
investing,
crazy.
it's like these are primary residents. You have the CEOs, you have people that are investing and basically having this as their primary residence to get away from tax bases in different states. Like it's incredible.
Would it be crazy to say Paradise Valley land is the most highly sought after land in the U.S. probably?
I'd say the
I'd
US,
say-
I'd say like
No,
No.
Casey's made this point before too. It's
Yeah.
like the price per square foot in Arcadia is higher than Paradise Valley.
yeah.
Because
Arcadia
it's
proper.
Arcadia proper, yeah. Paradise Valley, the reason it's expensive is because you get an acre,
Yeah.
right, or more. So
It's crazy in
Arcadia,
Arcadia.
you'll get a
It's
quarter
crazy
of an
even
acre,
at-
but
yeah.
it's
There's nowhere
Just
else
as
out there like
expensive.
Arcadia proper. It's so unique.
mhm.
Very, very landlocked, very limited though.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
taste specific too. Some people don't like the power lines and the whole urban feel, but
No.
it definitely is.
I've heard. I don't get that. I've had so many people tell me, "Oh, I don't want power lines."
Yeah.
So like, okay, you have to go to North Scottsdale.
Yeah.
But like,
PV, yeah.
who gives a shit? Like,
I know. I have clients that, like, from Paradise Valley, like, I would never live in Arcadia, and the people that are in Arcadia proper, like, I would never live in Paradise Valley. It's a very taste specific, and they're
Yeah.
so close to each other. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
I think it depends on like how much you value community, having that neighbor type of feel, like having the streets where the kids are out there playing on it, or not
Yeah.
having restaurants really close to you. Not that there's not plenty of that in PV, but PV's got much larger lots. It feels a little more quiet. I know if I were kind of at the retirement stage of my life, I'd probably be really drawn to PV versus Arcadia proper. But depends on where you are in life. But I mean, for me, Arcadia proper is like the epitome of fine real estate in Arizona. But I'm biased. I've lived on the Camelback corridor most of my life at this point, and haven't spent a lot of time up in like Silverleaf and some of these other places that are obviously like super prestigious. But with the places I know well, Arcadia proper is just like, it's got an amazing mix of big lots, good families, great schools, restaurants, and insane views.
Yeah. I mean, it's the thing, it's a comparison of like front porch living versus basically you go behind your gate, you don't talk to your neighbor. Like I have a client right now, it's a young family, and they're buying Arcadia proper because they want that kind of atmosphere of just people out and about and talking to your neighbors. They didn't want to be in PV where they're kind of just like, they would have that privacy. So
A little more isolated.
Yeah, exactly. So it just depends on personalities and
the kind of lifestyle you want to live.
exactly.
And we're talking some nuances right here.
Yeah,
This is rich people's problems right
Yeah,
here.
this is rich.
This is
people's
like
problem.
we're talking about like, oh, it's a drive to get out of PV.
it's a 10-minute
You're
drive.
literally
It's a 10
you're
right
in the
there.
middle of all the happening in Arizona right there.
Yeah.
Just to be clear.
And it is possible to get both. I just went under contract today on, it's technically Paradise Valley, but it's like walking distance to Optima and Old Town.
Oh, Pasadena?
So yeah,
Good
Camelback
job.
Estates.
That's fast.
Camelback Estates.
Yeah.
Oh, you saw
I
that
saw
one?
it under contract.
You
really
saw it
quick.
under contract? Yeah.
Good job. That's a good
Man,
house.
this guy's on top of the market.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It-
Yeah,
You
in
saw
my
one. You
area-
saw one go under contract,
Yeah.
but you didn't know Nick had that one under contract.
Yeah, but that was literally like 3 hours ago. So
Yeah.
he's on top of his shit.
That's great. There's something to be said about that.
Yeah.
My little bubble.
Have your niche.
Well, congratulations, Nick.
Yeah.
It's an
Congrats.
8,000 square foot lot, but it's Paradise Valley.
So-
So it is possible
About
to
like
get
a $2
both.
million property.
1.3 was a lot.
1.3.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that area.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
We doing a scrape ground up?
So the whole reason they bought it is because it's actually perfectly livable. So they were gonna rent at Optima for a bit while they build, but they're just gonna live there till they get permits, and then they'll move out and build.
Is this the one that you
So-
showed me the other day with all the natural lighting?
No, that
Okay.
one, that was right next door. So that actually
Okay.
sold them on the location because
I
that
see.
one was also technically Paradise Valley, even though it was
Right.
on Scottsdale Road. And actually, let me ask you guys this because you guys know this. So this listing, it was technically Paradise Valley.
Yeah.
They don't allow short-term rentals there, right?
I think they do. Yeah, no, they do.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Even under 30 days?
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, unless the CCNR showed differently, but you're fine there.
Okay. Then
I mean, that's PV, like, you have to get, I don't know.
I thought Paradise Valley specifically was a 30-day minimum on short-term rentals.
No, I don't think there's any
think
restrictions.
No?
Yeah,
Okay, I take it all back.
Yeah.
I take it back. But this property was an Airbnb.
Unless it's in an HOA.
So it was no HOA. It was right on Scottsdale Road, but it was technically Paradise Valley. And we saw it and we're like, maybe they're selling it because of that new regulation. But maybe I'm just mistaken and it wasn't a 30-day
I
restriction.
know that house you're talking about. That house had an interesting past, too. Like, basically, they started to go 2-story on it, and then the zoning didn't allow
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
They cut it in half.
Yeah. So it has super high ceilings,
Yeah.
but it's like 6 bedrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very
Yeah.
interesting.
But anyway, they get $1,000 a night for Airbnb.
Wow.
So even in May, which is
It
crazy.
was a killer location.
Killer location.
So you guys think people are going to start scraping some of these like 1940, 1950 homes and start building the 2 stories like we see like in Arcadia with the new, because you can only build up, right? So it's extremely valuable land, but I think we're going to start to see that like in Old Town. Some of these houses in Old Town are pretty old.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
My-
call it Boxdale, don't they?
Boxdale,
Boxdale.
yeah, Boxdale.
Yeah, Derek's pretty familiar with an old neighborhood that I lived in and owned my home in.
Great
Is
neighborhood.
it Scottsdale Terrace? Is that what it's called?
Scottsdale Terrace, right across the street from the entertainment district, literally gold because you have Fashion Square right next to you, have the entertainment district, and the homes in there, they started to redevelop. So you have, you might have one neighbor to the side that's like a 1940 home, never remodeled, and then to your other neighbor, it's like a $2 million like redevelopment built. They completely scraped it and they built like a 2 or 3 story home.
Yeah.
So that neighborhood, if I remember right, I think my lot size was like, it wasn't big. It was like 5,000 square
Yeah.
feet, 6,000 or something like that. So to Derek's point, there's, I think it was 1950s or 60s. It was either 50s or 60s built. So we're obviously past that point where it's like
Yeah.
these things don't need to be scraped if they've been maintained really well. But
Yeah.
the ones that have, been less maintained and cared for. You know, you're kind of at that point. So you certainly can't build out. And I'm sure City of Scottsdale probably has some like lot coverage rules too. So you build up.
Yeah, there's
But
setbacks.
it definitely, like, if not done right, it is a massive threat to like the character of these neighborhoods. Like these old ranch homes that are super. These neighborhoods are really charming.
Yeah.
You start putting these monstrosities, and they're not all monstrosities. Like some of them are
nice and
built,
tasteful,
you know,
yeah.
kind of like
Yeah.
tasteful, built to the kind of the theme of the neighborhood. But a lot of them are not, and it's just like, you know, you got one kind of dump, and then the next one's this 2-story, you know, cyber-looking building, and then the next one's kind of a dump, and it's kind of a weird feel for the neighborhood. So hopefully, something's done to where, you know, that's done tastefully.
I think over
Yeah.
time you're going to see a lot of those neighborhoods be gentrified.
Yeah.
Over time, that's just the way things are going.
Because I'm under contract on one in Southwest Village, which is basically just west of the Hotel Valley Ho on 68th Street Indian School, and that neighborhood's the same way too. It's very similar
Yeah,
to that
for sure.
one. And so you have like the charm of the older homes that people kind of like preserved, and they've done like new cool renovations to them. But then right next door you have these giant boxes that just like are so out of place, and so
Yeah.
it's kind of cool to see the people that actually have maintained them and kind of done really cool remodels and just preserve the authenticity of the neighborhood.
New York did that really well with the historic districts. Like I lived in a neighborhood called the West Village, and it was always super consistent all the way through. But then you go to like Midtown and you'd see shit like that where it's like, oh, brand new right next to a 1920s pre-war Great Gatsby style house. So, you know, having that historic preservation can keep those neighborhoods there. It does restrict building, but I think Old Town's kind of restricts building anyway. So
Yeah, it's a really interesting area with real estate, both commercial and residential in the Old Town area, because they're doing like a lot of redevelopment, but I don't see as much like on the residential side. Like it's definitely slowed down. For example, you know, during the COVID era, it was one of the best places to invest in an Airbnb. So you're seeing like tons of people doing like fix and flips and like renovating Airbnbs. And now if you go on the MLS, if you look on the market, they're all for sale because they're not
It
performing.
became so saturated
Yeah.
there.
Too saturated. They're not generating revenue, and I just think that like Old Town kind of blew up, and it was like this like once in a lifetime thing, and like it's always going to be popular, but like it was like nationally popular because it was still kind of open when like other states weren't.
Yeah.
So what would happen is a family member would move down here, they'd call up their family, oh, you guys got to move here, it's great, you know, the weather's great, and so we had a big surge of people just from that alone. But yeah, I don't see like Airbnbs or like Old Town development blowing up on the residential side like it did a few years ago.
no, there's only so much. I mean, there's no land in Old Town.
Yeah.
So you have to go to North Scottsdale to get any land, and you have to go really far north.
Yeah.
So
Which is, by the way, they're doing really cool development up there. So you have the new Optima, but on the other side of the 101, they're
Altavia.
building really cool Altavia. Beautiful development. So I think they're gonna keep kind of getting crazy with it and kind of building like towers and.
Are those condos or apartments, Octavia?
both.
Well,
Batavia will be the condo, but there's also going to be 2,000 apartments there.
Wow.
They sold out the other building next door, right? Was it
Portico?
Portico, yeah.
Yeah, I took someone to Portico, but I didn't like it.
They're building whole entertainment districts up there, kind of close to Desert Ridge, between Desert Ridge to.
Well, yeah, City North used to be like a landlocked little island, and now it's
Yeah.
like there's so much being built out there. Like D.R. Horton, Pulte, like did all those new developments right off of like 56 and the 101, and so like City North is now becoming like a hot spot because it's basically not isolated anymore. So
Yeah.
lots
Well,
of-
for sure, and the infrastructure there. You know, you got the private airport right there. There's just plenty of entertainment there as well. I think we're going to see that area grow and
Absolutely.
over the next decade for sure.
Is there a notable amount of this new development you guys are talking about that's built for rent versus built for sale?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of
So
built
like,
for
there's
rent.
definitely massive uptick compared to, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, right? I know, you know, my buddy Elliot's building several communities out in Mesa that are built to rent. He's like, it makes more sense to hold them as rentals. But for real estate investors, you know, I mean, obviously tons of apartments coming up, condos, whatever, right? But a bunch of, I shouldn't say condos, a bunch of rentals, right? And now that single family homes are being built to rent too, what do you guys, how much impact do you guys think that'll have on rents?
So I saw a community that was built to rent in Chandler like a couple months ago, and as they were about to finish, they converted them back to sale. So I think
Interesting.
we're kind of oversaturated on the built to rent houses, and I think we'll see more of them go back to houses. That's my personal take.
Well,
Yeah,
I think
especially since we've seen the apartment supply
Go crazy.
gone crazy in the past, 3-4 years.
Yeah. Especially in Kierland.
New
South
development,
Shore, it's
yeah.
like crazy over there.
I think it's kind of interesting because I feel like my perception is the values have held mainly neutral for, I don't know, a couple years now,
Yeah.
right? But it doesn't seem to me, like at least my experiences with my properties, that rents are doing the same thing. Like rents feel like they're softening right now. Is that
They
am I
are,
making
yeah,
this up in my
yeah.
head? All right.
I think though that you're safer in the Old Town Scottsdale area just because since it's so built out there, you're not seeing many apartment complexes going in.
Right.
Like you look at Kierland Commons, that Scottsdale core. I mean, they've built out everywhere apartment
They
complexes.
build them really fast, too.
Yeah, they'll take down like a newer Ladlow's building, just basically do a whole new tower there, and it's kind of crazy to me. But Old Town, they're really not. I mean, there's that one new development basically off of like Camelback and Scottsdale Road, but that's like the only new apartment complex area that I've seen come up. Maybe a few of
Or
them.
that
one across
condo
the
that
street from
Oriana's
Campus.
doing.
Those are condos.
Yeah,
not
and it's only
apartments.
40 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly Old Town's more insulated because it's landlocked and everything's pretty well built out. And
Yeah.
the dirt there is so expensive, I don't think it makes sense
Yeah.
for a builder to do.
They're doing some cool commercial developments there, though, that I think
Yeah.
will continue to make that space grow.
Lots of
The
different-
hotels.
But it's
yeah.
always
Hotels.
been popular over there. Yeah, hotels, and they're coming out. I've seen some restaurant. It's called Shiv, I think it is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a new
Shit.
supper club, yeah.
Yeah, supper club, and then just
Sounds
like
so exclusive.
Like
Yeah,
what
it's
we've
so
gotten
Shiv,
Kala.
that sounds like you're in a
hotel.
back alley and you just run into somebody's shiv.
But it's a supper club. So
Yeah.
it's just down
I
south.
know, right?
You gotta have like a nice place with like a dirty name. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
Shiv, come get bloody.
Yeah.
But some of these new bars that they've opened there are pretty cool. Like I know we really enjoyed Kill Club.
Oh, cool.
Kill Club's awesome.
I think they did a great job on that one. And now that I just turned 30 and I'm kind of not really in the club
Welcome to old
anymore,
age, brother.
yeah,
Welcome to
exactly.
old age.
That's more chill vibes, but
That's the thing is I think that a lot of it, you have like the entertainment district right there, and so I think everybody's kind of was wanting something a little bit like calmer, because I think like
Yeah.
back in the day like Boondocks was that place that was calmer, and then it got so popular. But
Mhm.
Kill Club's cool. It's like it has like very more relaxed vibe, so it's kind of nice to go there, have a drink.
yeah.
You know what other area has completely changed since I moved here is downtown Phoenix.
I love
Has
it.
I fucking
completely
love
They've
downtown
cleaned it up quite a
Phoenix.
bit. They've cleaned it
Yeah.
up quite a bit.
That
The
the
restaurants
development down there
there,
is
the bars, the walkability. It's
Yeah.
fun down there. I love it down there.
The
It is.
only complaint I have for downtown Phoenix is that families don't like it. That's the
Right.
only thing. It's like the schools aren't great, so people don't want their kids to live there. So that's the only thing holding it back. But other than that, if you're single, if you're downsizing, downtown Phoenix all day.
It's fun.
And I would say to any family that wants to take advantage of like everything that's in downtown Phoenix, go to like the North Central area.
Yeah, North Central
Yeah,
is of course
certainly.
amazing.
Yeah,
And
that's the
then,
first
between
thing
the
that comes to
sevens.
mind.
then
Yeah.
Xavier and Brophy are right there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 85014 is a great zip code.
Mhm. I agree with you.
Between the sevens.
I was gonna look to try to buy a house there, but I realized I'm never gonna get out of Scottsdale. So
Yeah.
I love
I'm here till I die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that could be
Well, you
this
digresses.
week or that could be 50 years.
Because you grew up in Glendale, you grew up in Ahwatukee, right?
Ahwatukee, yeah.
I grew up in Phoenix, then you were in Ohio.
Yeah.
And where were you in Arizona?
I lived all over, but I went to high school in Gilbert.
Oh, okay. So we
I was
all
a-
kind of migrated this way.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, Gilbert's all right, but it's just all the restaurants and stuff starts in Phoenix and Scottsdale,
Yeah.
and then it kind of expands out. There's a Buck and Ryder in Gilbert. There's Bourbon and Bones, but they all were Scottsdale first.
Yeah.
And then they came out there. So
To a point about all the cities in Arizona in general growing, but growing up in Ahwatukee, I think my parents built that home in like 91 or something like that. And I want to say, at least they tell me, that it was the third house in the entire like master plan community
Oh.
built, right? So like it was all dirt lots. And I remember
Yeah.
growing up there, we'd be like riding our dirt bikes around, making ramps, and like it wasn't built out. And
Yeah.
like probably 2 decades ago, Ahwatukee was landlocked. And so it's just crazy how fast, like in a matter of 10 years, see places like Queen Creek, which
Oh, wow.
you want to talk
Yeah.
about dirt roads.
Yeah.
Like when I was growing up, Queen Creek wasn't even it wasn't residential.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, we
that
lived-
that was farmland, right?
Yeah.
And so like and now you go out there, and what are some of the big malls and big shopping centers out in Queen Creek? Whatever it is,
Yeah.
like you have young people, it's
Olive
vibrant,
Mill.
it's
Oh, yeah.
like tons of stuff to do. Olive Mill, it's
But you
amazing.
have now you're having like in the pecans out there, you have like the $2,
Mm.
$3, $4 million houses.
Oh,
Like it's
6 million,
crazy.
7 million.
Yeah.
Queen Creek's
It's
beautiful
wild.
too. It's just it's
It is.
a little bit out there, but it's beautiful and it's all brand new.
Yeah.
And they have like a sense of community more than like any other
Yeah,
city. I would say.
100%.
But it's just
Yeah.
crazy. Like 20 years ago, I'd be like, oh, this is farmland.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
20 years is not that. That's a speck in time. You know what I mean?
The
And 20
crazy-
years later, I'm like, holy crap, that place is
So
fun.
when I was in high school, we lived on the very edge of Gilbert and Queen Creek. So this side of Power Road, which is where my parents' house was Gilbert. The other side was Queen Creek. We'd go to Queen Creek when we wanted to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Like when we wanted to go through a party in the desert or like with no one around, we'd go to Queen Creek. And now I go see my parents, and yeah, it's exactly like you're saying. It's
Yeah.
built to everybody's there. It's crazy.
Well, it's unique because it's like I feel like Arizona never really had suburbs. I mean, because I think if you drive through Arizona, you go over one street, and all of a sudden you're basically from Scottsdale to Phoenix to Glendale. I mean, it's all right there. But you think about like in Texas, like they have like these suburbs that you go to, and Queen Creek is kind of like what I think of as a suburb. Like it's this beautiful community where basically families can go and kind of invest in a community. But
And the prices have really gone up over there too.
That's wild.
It makes you think like what, another 10 or 20 years, like what the next place or places are going to be like.
Yeah.
To me, Verado specifically in Buckeye, like
I love Verado.
it is unbelievable. It's just far out. So we
Yeah.
think about that now. And if you're not living there and you're not raising your family there, it's kind of like, oh, it's just, but guarantee it 10, 20 years from now, it's going to be like super desirable. Everyone's going to be going there. It's going to be way bigger, lots more stuff to do.
Even
think-
Australia, I
Yeah.
think, down south there.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
That's a little pocket I think will explode.
The East Valley's been so, like, it's just really exploded. And the West
Yeah.
Valley has too, but I feel
The East
is there,
Valley
like
is
a little
certainly-
shift.
Yeah.
No,
Is there a
no,
little
it's
shift
certainly
coming
East
a little
Valley.
bit, like favoring the West a little bit now.
No.
No.
With
Well,
employers coming
no.
through like the I-10 down by
Never.
Goodyear.
No.
Maybe if
I
you're
don't
like
think so.
thinking like
The
that,
chip
like
plant area, but
if you're thinking like, okay, I want to buy a property for like maybe a starter home and rent it out, like, okay, I see the West Valley for that. But like as far as the most desirable area, it's always going to be the East Valley because there's the mountains. We have the mountains everywhere.
Ah.
We have the Santan Mountains. We have the McDowells. We have Camelback. It's all on the east side of Phoenix. And you have to go.
Affordability is certainly
But
on
you
the
go, like,
west.
west-
Yeah, you have to go
Yeah.
all the way to
but
Verado
like
to get that
Peoria,
same.
you get Peoria and stuff like that. Like that has like Arrowhead
There's
Lakes
pockets
and
in
that.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's
yeah.
pockets of like North Peoria
Arrowhead's
and then
a cool
Verado.
area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's a cool area. Now you got to think that most people in Arizona have never been to Scottsdale or the East Valley, and vice versa. So,
I would argue that
we're-
anyone who's been to Arizona has been to Scottsdale.
no,
That's where they come.
no.
No?
I'm native to Arizona. I'm telling you right now that there's people in the East Valley that have never been to the West Valley, and vice versa.
Oh no, no,
What?
that I agree with. That I agree with. But I'm saying like when people come to Arizona for the first time to visit, they're coming to Scottsdale.
we
and
think it's a
Phoenix.
trip because we've been to both, and we know that.
I
everything-
never went to the West Valley when I was
Scottsdale-
growing up,
Scottsdale.
so you're 100% right.
And I never been to Scottsdale till I was 20.
When I was like,
Really?
I mean, you got
Okay.
Westgate out there. That development out in Westgate is
Yeah.
insane. I don't know if you've been out there recently,
No.
but around the Cardinal Stadium.
So what the West Valley needs is like
Yeah.
money.
Yeah, it's insane.
There's a lot of distressed properties.
Mhm.
A lot of deferred maintenance, and people can't keep up with like taking care of their home.
Yeah.
More in the West Valley than most markets, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like a lot of fix and flips going on in the West Valley.
Do
But
see
you got to
the
kind of know
prices
your
going up
area.
there?
I feel like
Yeah.
you need to be more native to Arizona to tap into that market more, as the East Valley is a little bit like easier to learn because the West Valley is kind of random and kind of all over the place.
It really is, yeah. Because I sold
But-
homes over in Glendale and said that, and it's like the communities are just, it's different, totally different side by side. It's like you really gotta know it over there.
Yeah, but for example, I have a flip coming that I'm going to be listing here in Glendale, and this is a niche neighborhood where like people know exactly like what they're getting. Like they would never move out of that neighborhood. Like they would have no interest at something at a similar price point in Scottsdale, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
are you talking
Because-
specifically West Valley?
Yeah.
It's funny you say that. For some reason, like I've had probably 5 buyers in the past 2-3 months that are all like buying homes in their same neighborhood, and I think they're all West Valley.
Yeah, there's people out there, especially like native to Arizona, that know what they know and like they're creature of habit, I guess is the best way to put it. Like they don't want to explore, like they don't want to explore like the East Valley or like North Phoenix or like what else the valley has to offer. Like they're very set in their neighborhood,
Mhm.
and that's a lot of people in Arizona.
Yeah, if you're
And
focusing.
that's kind of like how native Phoenicians are, like, because the whole development in this whole state kind of growing is still fairly new.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have the perception too, like Scottsdale people are hoity-toity,
Yeah, oh, that's always
Snobsdale.
been
Yeah.
around.
Snottsdale.
Snottsdale guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we called it growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now look at me.
No, you're one of them.
Scottsdale snobs
Bro,
talking
one
about
of- bro,
Scottsdale
talking
snobs talking about West
talking
Valley.
about Caesar.
Oh, Glendale. how
Bro's got a
dare you.
Oh,
podcast.
Glendale.
Bro's got a
Let's go, son.
podcast on the 3rd floor in Old Town Scottsdale.
Yeah. True that.
I've become what I chose to hate. Ah!
But yeah, they call me the Batman of the West Valley.
I can't.
No, okay, they don't say that.
God.
What else do they call
They don't say that.
Do you have any other nicknames?
Broker by Bronson.
Broker back?
Broker.
Broker back.
Broker back? That's
I-
not
I-
bad.
I heard that.
Someone
Like
say
Nickelback?
Nickelback?
That's like Nickelback, but broker
Someone had
back.
more courage than me to say
I
that.
can't.
Alright, this podcast is going to take a turn. We're going to have like timestamps, like skip to this part,
Yeah.
like if you're not our clients.
Yeah,
If you're our
exactly.
clients, watch this part.
Yeah.
If you're not our clients and your friends, you can watch this part.
What I was saying was brokered by Bronson.
I like that. And
I like that too. That's a hot nickname.
Before I even got into real estate, I'm like, I should change my last name to Bronson. Like, it's just easy to remember. It rolls off the tongue. It's marketable.
That's his middle name.
It's masculine.
By the way, for the viewers out there, Derek Bronson Tschilar.
There's
And
already
I've
too many Derek's in here.
tried to get on the wave of calling him Bronson so that we can have Derek and Bronson. But the two Dereks just sticks whenever people see them together. They're just like, oh, Derek and Derek.
I like it. It also saves us breath and syllables when we're like, who are hanging out with? The Dereks. The
The
Dereks and
Dereks.
Josh.
Yeah, so
Derek and Josh.
I can't be like I haven't been able to get Bronson to stick, but I think it'll be the Dereks.
I think
DD
Bronson,
and DT, it's perfect.
you got to be careful because Bronson is the alter ego. So you really need to be
That's his
careful on
Batman.
how you use that. Yes, because the alter ego will come out. And
That's
I've
what-
met Bronson a couple times. Let me tell you, he's a lot of fun.
He's scary.
He's a good
He's a great time.
He's a wild card.
Yeah.
He's a little bit of a wild card, but
Have you guys seen Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde?
Yeah.
Anyways,
And a global ambassador.
what do you say?
oh, so Josh has met him too.
Yeah, met him at Global.
Yeah, Josh met him.
Josh
at
has
Global.
met Bronson. Very
Yes.
much.
Are there certain places that Bronson likes to come out most, like in his natural habitat? What are his natural habitats?
Vodka, martinis.
Not for the habitat.
After a good lift,
After a good lift.
don't drink water for a few days. Anything really. So, anyways,
He's here right now.
yeah, you just wanted to come out, but you know, I just
We're gonna get PC for the
I just started
podcast.
doing push-ups on the floor.
Starts
Yeah,
I
dehydrating
would
him.
Oh, that's a wrap.
Oh.
But yeah, definitely I'm the least crazy person in the room. If you want to contact me, you can go to phoenixareahousesearch.com.
Oh, now we're plugging our own
You gotta
personal
give a
brand.
plug.
Now we're plugging our personal brands.
You gotta
Is that
plug the
what we're
personal
doing?
brand. I'm trying to blow up.
At Twillionaire, by the way.
Can we find you on Instagram?
It depends. I do a lot of what
It's all
what I call.
wrong.
Hey, I'm glad they're calling. I'm glad you guys are calling me out on this because, look, I don't care how goofy it might seem. I'm gonna delete my Instagram as many times as I want because I like to detox from it.
It's like,
I feel like-
it's hourly.
I
though.
tried
It's
to
like-
do it once. I couldn't even do
But
it
you're
right.
like
Can you
every
show
other
me how to
day.
do it?
Yeah.
I said, can you
Well,
show me
no,
how to do it?
I don't do it hourly. Knock
I
it
said
off.
I try and send you something. It's like
Oh,
same.
oh.
By the night, later
Yeah.
in the evening, it's
Look,
like, oh, it's back up. I can
Look,
send it.
I understand how cool like Instagram is. The way I personally work is like I will lock my office door for like 2 to 4 days, and
Yeah.
like I get a lot of work done, and then I just know like when I'm burnt out, and then that's when I can like go lay by the pool and re-download Instagram. But you know, I know. Trust me, I get text messages all the time. Oh, why'd you block me on Instagram?
Oh,
Because you're a loser, bro. That's why. Not a winner. If you're a winner, I would have blocked you. Just kidding.
User does not exist. All the time.
Every time.
All right,
time.
but have you guys ever thought about, you know, guys? All
Guys,
right,
it's serious.
yeah,
Serious.
love
Let's
that
get
my friends
serious.
don't respect me. This is awesome. All right, so
It's
have
the
you
roast
guys?
of Derek Tschilar.
Oh, there would be way too many people that would want to do that. But in all seriousness, all right. So we're all entrepreneurs. We all. It's actually cool kind of how we all like kind of combine because we all kind of knew each other outside of our friend group,
Yeah.
but then we all kind of merged, which I thought was cool. Like I knew you guys all individually. I met you at an open house. You called yourself the open house whore. I met him from a deal.
It's
I
true.
met Josh through Instagram.
Yeah.
I met you through a girl that I was dating. We're gonna keep
We
it.
weren't
We're
dating
gonna
the
keep
same
it
girl.
$150, huh?
We weren't dating the same girl.
We weren't. Not that one.
Not that one.
One of the few. One of the few. But
We should make a
so
Facebook
my
page
question
about
is,
that.
in all
Are we dating the
seriousness,
same girl?
have you guys thought about getting into like another business venture, starting another business, or is it all about just doubling down on what we already do and becoming the best version of ourselves in real estate and just doing that to our best potential?
I really thought about it. I thought about it when I moved back to AZ. I was like, do I really want to do this all over again? And the answer was no. This is all I got my real estate license when I was 23.
Mhm.
I haven't really had a real job outside of that, so
Mhm.
this is what I got. I would like to build a company though,
Mhm.
and actually hire agents and share some knowledge and help people grow their business. That's going to take time, but
Yeah.
that is a long-term goal of mine.
Yeah, and this is a really tough market to do that, but I think that, again, Casey and I have talked about this a few times, businesses are built in bad markets.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you're doing is you're gaining the necessary skills and discipline to withstand any market. So when times are good and rates come down and all of a sudden real estate's cool, everyone starts getting licensed again, we have too many agents like we did previously, you're gonna be so far ahead of them,
Mhm.
and then you're gonna be able to hire those agents because of what you learned when the markets were tough.
Yeah.
You're gonna be able to just share and help them learn that skill set. But
11
my
years.
question was more along the lines of simultaneously, while you're operating your real estate business, have you ever thought about maybe doing another business venture? For example, I'm trying to on the side kind of run paid ads for like other businesses. But like other businesses are very different. And then sometimes I'm like, I don't know if it's worth it because like I haven't really been the agent I know I should become yet. So like, should I even like give attention to this? So I kind of play, you know, I have a little bit back and forth on that.
I think no. I would do stuff like social media promotion. Like if, you know, let's say I had a certain number of followers or I reach a certain audience and someone wanted me to promote something, I'd do that.
Right.
But not like actually work every day at a different business. I wouldn't do that.
One thing I think is really cool about like our business is that there's so many different facets of it. Like it's like with you can do renovations, you can do new construction, you can actually add that into it, you can do investments, and so there's like super cool stuff like that. So like I think if you stay within the wheelhouse of real estate, it's like you can balance it all.
Yeah, because there's so many things to do in real estate. So many things.
And different things work for different people too. You know what I mean? Like if you're good at multitasking and you have all that time, maybe you don't have like family obligations and you can work 16 hours a day and do good at both, great. I think you got to do something you're passionate about, right? Like I feel like if you're doing something that you're not passionate about, you're never going to really get good at it. You're not going to be happy. People you work with aren't going to be happy. But when I think about, for me, doing another business while doing mortgages, I've stayed away from it. But I have two reasons why. Because I kind of have like the perspective of like how are we taking care of ourselves, but also how are we treating the consumers and the people that trust us to serve them. So for me, there's one of my coworkers has a sign every time I walk by their office that says, "Whatever you do, be the best at it." And my dad told me that growing up, and that's part of the reason I can barely work a hammer. But you know, it's worked out pretty well for me.
Yeah.
But all I've done is mortgages. Like some days I woke up and I hated it. Other days I was excited about it, but I just kept grinding, and that worked well for me, right? But not selfishly, just thinking about the consumers. And this is something I experience. You know, when I have like, you know, the buyer I met you through, or you know, some of these other like botch jobs where people are not taking care of the loan officer, the realtors, or whatever. They're not doing it full time because they're messing around with other businesses, or they're just not focused on it, and it's a massive disservice to the consumer. And that's always been something that's kind of been a chip on my shoulder because I see what happens to people when they're making the biggest purchase of their lives, and most of them go fine, right? But you have these like horror stories, and almost all of them are accounted for by just like irresponsibility and people not really being dialed into what they do. So that's when people try to do like, you know, wear 3-4 hats at one time. I just feel like the train falls off the tracks.
Is it like using Aunt Sue, who's, you know, has another 9-to-5 job, and we're just using Aunt Sue because it's Aunt Sue?
Yep.
Yeah.
I will say Derek and I too, like we really do utilize our license to the fullest, you know, like doing off-market stuff or like getting creative with like off-market opportunities and brokering stuff that like doesn't hit the MLS or whatever, you know.
Yeah, that's one thing you guys all do a really good job of. I was in a room with 4 real estate agents, right? And you guys have done a good job of like actually making good friends with and networking with other agents because you guys have these like off-market opportunities that you can kind of share amongst each other, and it really does bring extra visibility to your buyers and sellers. You know, when those things come up. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
Value add, value add, value add.
Value add. I think one of the biggest value adds too is like when you kind of get those like one-off relationships, like okay, all of a sudden I have a buyer in Apache Junction for like a flip, right? So like if I come across that opportunity, I know exactly who to call. If I need a plumber for like XYZ, you know, whatever's wrong with the house, I can call the plumber. So when you build out those relationships, I feel like you really can add a lot of value to either a buyer, an investor, or whoever that might be from just being in the business after a while.
Yeah.
Well, all of a sudden you won't want to talk, Nick? Why am I the talker? Casey and I are the quiet and the cool ones. That's where we're on the side.
Oh, pushing us out of our comfort zone.
I love it.
You know, it's funny because I've done some content with Casey and I've done some with Derek D. This is actually my first with Josh and you, and I love seeing you come to life on camera. So I'm just enjoying the moment right now. I'm basking in the glow of Derek Tschilar.
Am I allowed to look at the camera and say something?
Yeah.
These guys bully the hell out of me. And there's not one of these sons of bitches that can't kick any of their asses. I'm in good shape now.
He gives a little brother energy, man. He gives a little brother energy.
Total little brother energy, and I love it. I love it.
No, it's always something new with us, but what I love is that we all work hard in our professional life and that we can enjoy each other's company, you know, on the weekends and when time allows it. It's rare these days that we can all get together at once, so like sometimes, you know, we get dinners here and there amongst each other.
I think too, we respect.
The comment was directed towards you, Josh.
I know.
Josh.
He became the chairman of Paradise Valley. He's like, I'm too good for you, plebes. Fuck all y'all.
No, but it's great and it's respectable. You gotta always put business first. You know, we know how much you love us and we love you, but you always gotta put business first.
And then the boys.
Business.
And then the boys.
The boys, the gentleman's club.
There's nothing wrong with going into grind mode and prioritizing, you know, your business and the people that We're counting on you. I cut you off earlier. Remember what
Oh,
you said?
no, I was just gonna say, it's nice to be in a room where, like, there's a lot of mutual respect,
Yeah.
right? I respect what Josh does, what Nick does, Casey does, Derek does, obviously. No, I really do. I really
Whoa!
do.
He
That's
doesn't
a genuine
do,
comment.
but we do.
That's a genuine comment, yeah.
Oh, I cannot wait for this camera to go off. You guys. No.
Yeah, it's great
Bruce
to be in a
Wayne's
room,
about to
too,
come out.
that are full of guys who elevate you, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it makes, being in this room makes me want to be better.
Yeah, likewise. No, that's important too, because you can't outgrow your circle.
No.
And the best friends you got, you talk shit to their faces. I thoroughly
Yes.
enjoy talking shit to your guys' faces.
Exactly.
I know.
So,
Yeah, if only you guys could see the memes in our group chat. If only.
Move.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we would all be in jail.
Yeah, so we're not going to show those.
No.
Can we show one of them? Can we pull one up? Gents, can we pull one up on the screen?
I got a safe photo.
Jamie,
Joe.
can we get
Oh!
one on the screen?
Yeah.
No photos. But yeah, what I respect about Casey is, you know, you make a comment on, oh, I used to grind. Bro, you're in the office every day from like the morning to like minimum 6-7 every day, brother.
Yeah.
And so like, you know, I like the old school approach because we have that in common. Like, we're the type of guys, at least speaking for myself, we have to go in the office and have like a brick and mortar type setting. Like we have to like have that like serious feel to it.
Yeah.
I've tried to work from home before. Me personally, I can't do it. And I think it's just because all my life before real estate, like I didn't go to college, like I was in the car business grinding. So like it feels weird to sit at home. Like it feels uncomfortable, you know?
We're all self-motivated, I feel like. And so like,
Self-motivated.
Yeah, so like I have to go to the office every single day too. And so
Do you?
I get all my
Okay.
work done. It's like if I don't do that, then I feel like I slack off, and so I don't do that. I'm always in the office.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not a bunch.
Yeah, how do the rest of you guys feel about working from home versus going to the office?
I don't like it.
So since I went off on my own, which is about a little over a year ago, I have a big desktop computer and then I have my tiny laptop. And I genuinely prefer working on my big ass desktop with like a 30-inch screen. So
Yeah.
I actually do when I have computer work, I do it from home. But if I could bring that desktop with me here to Empire, I would do that.
I'll
So
also
it's
say
really
though-
just more of a computer thing.
I'll also say though, I think if you were like in a single family home as opposed to maybe the Optima, that kind of probably makes for a better office than I would say most places.
Yeah, like being
Having some natural lighting coming in through the windows, it kind of has more of a professional feel than, you know, maybe like a home office or something.
Yeah, because my home office, I mean, it's windowless, but I do
Yeah.
work from that. Like when
Okay,
I
okay.
have computer stuff, I do it on my desktop computer. I do come to Empire to print and like, you know, talk to people. So I'll come here a couple times a week, but I generally do my hard work from home on the big desktop.
And how long have you been a member of Empire for?
About a year.
And have you feel like you've gotten pretty good networking and it's...
I think you did your own damn show. It's like
Here's
cracking
this
it up.
guy.
Like, you have a
I'm being
whole list of,
interviewed
like,
He's
on
being
my
interviewed
own
on his own
podcast
podcast.
right
how
now.
do you feel
How
about
do you
that?
feel about that?
Exactly.
Well, I
Um,
mean, sell it to him. He's a potential member.
They
here.
give me nothing, but I'll sell it to you anyway.
Prospective member.
Yeah, what do they even do for you? Is the
Yeah.
owner even cool?
Ed's all right. Raf's super dope. Bauman, super dope. No, I'm just kidding. Ed's super dope too. No, they're all great. It's really you're paying for the environment here. So I had a co-working space at WeWork back in the day. I've had a co-working space at Industrious before I came here. The people sucked. I did not like those people. And granted, there's nothing wrong with them as a company. Industrious was just bought out by CBRE. The co-working model clearly works. But it's all about if you want the co-working environment, you want to be around people that you like. I come to Empire and I see people in all different industries, all doing different things. I've had a bunch of them on my podcast.
What kind of industries?
So Cameo down there is in the marketing company. She has a company called the Best Marketing Co.
Wow.
And, you know, she can whip stuff up on the computer, graphic design in 5 minutes. So just having somebody like that you see every day and can talk to them and ask them for stuff, that's so cool to have. And you don't get that in a private office or anywhere else.
That's great.
I think going back to I think going back to the private office thing, like we're all self-motivated
Yeah,
professionals.
you're going to get your
right?
work done,
Like
no matter where you do it.
And I feel like you need an environment, you need a space where you flip the switch,
Yeah.
right? Like you come here, okay, I'm locking in now, and this is what I'm doing right now. And sometimes you have to delete Instagram so you're able to focus too.
Yeah,
Look,
I have
you know,
days.
everyone-
I do have days where I
100%,
do that.
yeah.
I come here and I do that, but yeah.
Everyone has different things that they need to do. It's just about knowing myself and my self-control. So
Yeah.
I'd rather spend an hour at the office, you know, on the phone than scrolling through my phone.
Yeah.
I get addicted to Instagram. I just scroll and...
Oh, doom scroller.
No, but that's so key, just knowing yourself.
Yeah, it's just
people
about
like
knowing
don't
myself.
even take a step back sometimes and realize like what they're doing to their. It starts with habits, right? But like your mind kind of starts to get like just hooked on it, like the
Yeah.
dopamine release and stuff like
Dopamine.
that. and it doesn't just mess up with your productivity at work. It messes up with your personal relationships. I mean, I've experienced this before, and you're with someone, and either you or your partner or both are just like glued to your phone. It's like it just affects you in all facets of life.
You're missing like the human.
But
interaction.
knowing yourself is the important part, right?
Yeah.
Like that's gonna happen to everybody.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, well, do I like the direction this is taking me in or not? And am I willing to do anything about it if I don't?
Yeah.
And on a real note, I admire that about you too, that you're able to do that. I really do. I
Yeah,
really
sure
do.
you. Yeah.
It's annoying. I think
It
it's
only does it
annoying.
for 8 hours at a
I
time.
know,
Josh,
seriously,
Josh
yeah.
handles it
I
better
think it's
than I do.
annoying, but
You turn off your notifications too. You know that, right?
Turn off notifications.
Yeah, just
I do that.
you can turn
pretty
off
frequently.
notifications.
Yeah.
Here's the reality. I want people to get hooked on whether if I'm gonna be on Instagram or not.
Oh
So
my
it's
god!
it's gonna be an extreme privilege if my page is up and you're good to go tap and like my photos. Okay.
We got Jensen over here looking for you on Instagram,
Yeah.
and he cannot.
Oh no, you're
find you
no,
right
no,
He's
you're
off right now.
hey, no, you're blocked blood. You're blocked. That's a whole different story. But anyways,
Anything else?
I was so resistant to getting on Instagram for so many years. It wasn't
Yeah.
until about 3 years ago, Jason Glimsher made me an account. My password, which is no longer my password anymore, was I love Jason.
Oh,
And he was just like, hey, Casey, I followed 4 people for you and some cool accounts.
jeez.
I'm like,
It was
okay.
Jason
And then sure enough,
Glimsher and Glimsher
Jason got me
Development.
addicted,
Yeah.
dude. You screwed me up, Jason. I was on the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
I had
I'm
Insta-
gonna buy this bus stop sign behind yours. I'm just gonna troll you. I don't know what I'm gonna put on you, but I'm gonna troll you.
put me on there.
Maybe.
You buy a bus stop out of me and just put it behind Jason. That would be ultimate trolling.
or we need us 5 there.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, the
like-
5 of us.
Yeah.
We should advertise.
Here's
together.
5 better
That'd be
agents
funny.
than
Let's
that
talk to
guy.
you about the guy.
The
behind that.
Gentlemen's
Seriously,
Club.
we're gonna start a brokerage called the Gentlemen's Club.
Actually,
We're pretty impressive.
Well, I mean,
that might be a sexist thing though. We want
Yeah,
women to
yeah.
join. We do want to
Ladies
hire
can
women
get
agents.
The Gentle Club.
the Gentle Club.
Like
Be-
Kill Club,
besties.
but the opposite.
The
The
besties.
Gentle Club.
Bestie's broker.
Besties Brokerage.
Yeah.
Yes. And it'll
So,
just be a heart is our logo. All right, guys. Does anyone have anything else for us today?
No.
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 Yeah.
What you got? You got anything else? Any other topics?
Me, I have nothing to say.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming. This was awesome. This is my first podcast with more than one guest, and I'm so glad I got to do it with the boys. Gentlemen's Club,
Yes.
thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Always.